Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my home. Excuse me while I take a little sip of my tea, my Royal Reviewer tea. And there we go. Hello and welcome. So it's Friday night, and I thought I would come on and do a Friday night live chat. We have a few things to talk about, as I'm sure you can tell from the title of this video. We have had a little bit of breaking royal news today. Let me just adjust the lighting because I think that's a little bit too bright. There we go. I think that's a bit better. It sort of helps with the glare in the glasses. So yes, as always, it's a live chat, so I love the viewer interaction. So please, if you are able to make the live, leave me a comment and I will try and read them out. I can't say hello to everyone individually, but hello if you are watching right now and you are able to make the live. I hope you can hear me. I do not have a pearl necklace on today, so there won't be any clanking. So apologies for the previous live stream. But no one told me when I was live that the pearls were clanking on the microphone. My goodness, what a terribly aristocratic problem to have, that my pearls were clanking on the microphone. So I do hope you can all hear me. Let's do a little sound check. So tell me if you can hear me okay. Um, All Sorts says, I take a day off work and get to see you live. Well, there you go. I think you should count yourself lucky. I am a bit of an enigma. So anyway, the office of the Duke of Shropshire, Royal Reviewer, is coming at you live today. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you have anything else you want me to talk about, do let me know. So I want to talk about Thomas Kingston. So when I previously made a video talking about Thomas Kingston, of course, the husband of Lady Gabriella Windsor, the daughter of Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, of course, Prince Michael of Kent, the Queen's cousin. So sort of, a member of the royal family, but sort of not high up there, not a working member of the royal family for Lady Gabriella Windsor. But I brought you the sad news that Thomas Kingston had been found at an address, and at the time they were only letting out that it was an address. Now this wording is typical in the UK. I had someone comment about what does the wording mean, and basically it's to maintain people's privacy and dignity. So if an incident happens, the police might say, an incident has occurred at an address, but it turned out and transpired that the address was his parents' home. So they have a big house with lots of land, and he was found passed away at his parents' house. And then we had the inquest. Well, at least part of an initial release about. Well, we had more of an update. Let's put it that way. So I think it's being described as an inquest that revealed a few more details. He was only 45, which makes it even more tragic. They didn't have any children. For some reason, in the previous video, I thought they maybe had a youngster, but they don't. They were childless. They've been married 5 years. I covered the wedding on this channel at the time it happened. It was attended by members of the royal family. The Queen went, the Duke of Edinburgh went. I'm talking about Queen Elizabeth II, of course. She was wearing a royal family tiara on her wedding day on loan from Her Majesty the Queen. So it was a very big, high society, the social event of the year. So very, very sad to hear of his passing. Cut to today, the details revealed that he had taken his own life. They had found he'd been found with catastrophic wound to his head, and a gun had been found not far away from his body. So we can all, guess what happened. There's no indication of any foul play. The police are not investigating anything else. There's no suspicions at all with any kind of foul play. So he was obviously going through some kind of terrible mental health issue. Um, of his own. And, these demons can happen to anyone at any age, and it is just very, very sad and tragic. So just like I said in the previous video, my heart and my thoughts go out to Lady Gabriella Windsor, all of his family, his friends, his acquaintances, anyone who has been touched by his life. My thoughts, and I can echo that for everyone watching on this channel. All of our thoughts go out to his friends and family. I think we can all agree on that one in this troubled royal world in which we live. So a terrible tragedy. Only married 5 years. They had their whole lives ahead of them. And the details that had been released, there's more details. So this is how the events went. He returned home. When I say home, I'm talking about the family home. So in other words, he must have had it in mind that he wanted to go to his parents. He wanted to see his parents for one final time before he did what he did. And I should say at this point that if anybody is going through any mental health issues or feelings or thoughts of that nature, please contact someone. Please speak to someone. Speak to your partner, speak to your friend, speak to your family. It doesn't matter who. Call one of the hotline numbers. Just speak to someone. So he went home, must have been to see them for the final time. He had dinner with his parents. His dad, his father, then went to walk the dog, must have been a family dog. And Thomas must have gone out during that time. I don't think his mother realised that he had left the house. He must have taken himself away. I think he went to some kind of outbuilding, must have been a barn. He locked the door of where he went and he did what he did. Then about half an hour later, his father must have returned. Mother obviously realised that he'd been missing. So the father went out to look, found the outbuilding was locked, forced his way in, and then found his son in that state. So goodness knows what had been going through his mind. I just wish that he had spoken to someone about it, because nothing is ever that bad. It really isn't. Speak to someone if ever you have those thoughts or feelings. Speak to someone, and I wish he had done that. And he may have taken himself away from Lady Gabriella so that she wasn't the one to find him in that state. It's all just very, very sad. Just trying to put yourself in the mindset of someone that's in that way is just terrible, terrible. So that is what happened. That is the facts as we know it. Those are actual statements that were released by the coroner. So yeah, if you hear anything else, then it's a load of nonsense unless something has actually been released. We'll get to Kate in a moment. Yes, what a shock that must have been for his family. And just imagine, being his father, walking in and finding him in that way. It's terrible. And no, you never know what other people are dealing with. I have no idea what his issues were. Sandy just said, what were his issues? I don't know. You never know what could drive someone to do that. It may not have been anything terribly bad. It's just if you get in a mindset and you spiral, just talk to someone. Talk to someone. Yes, it is very, very, very sad. Too young. Yes. Bernadette says it was very surprising to see his in-laws at the memorial service on Monday. Yes, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, most definitely of the older generation, put duty before self. And they did turn up at St George's Chapel, Windsor for the memorial service to King Constantine. And you wouldn't have known from the look on their faces what had transpired in their personal lives. So they most definitely put duty before self. Make your own minds up as to whether or not that was the right thing to do. But it was what they felt was the right thing to do. And we have to remember that people deal with grief in very, very different ways. Some people like to hide away, draw the curtains, and go into some kind of Victorian-esque period of mourning. Some people like to get on with it because getting on with life helps. Obviously, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent are one of those. Now, it has been revealed that Prince William's, the Prince of Wales's absence from that service is not connected in any way, shape, or form to the events of Thomas Kingston. So that has been confirmed, which then leads people to think, well, why was William not there? Because William was seen today in Wrexham for St. David's Day. So, in fact, Wrexham isn't terribly far away from where I live. If I'd have known that he was there, I'd have gone. Anyway, so we were speculating some of the options of why he missed the service. And one of them that we said was maybe he was ill. Well, if he was ill with a cold or whatever, he certainly was showing no signs of a cold or any kind of illness of that nature today. So that leads me to believe that if it wasn't connected to Thomas Kingston, if his absence wasn't connected to being ill, then perhaps it was family related, personal reasons was very, very telling. I think it's more to do with Catherine's illness than anything to do with William personally. Yes, may Thomas Kingston be at rest now? So sad, and so probably avoidable if he'd spoken out. Lots of people sending their condolences. So if you do want to put your condolences, please leave a message in the comment section, because you never know who's reading something. Maybe one of the family or friends is watching this video. So feel free to leave a comment. They may actually get to see it. Who knows? Lauren says, maybe one thing I would say is don't jump to conclusions till the full inquiry. Well, yeah, there will obviously be further details, but we now know what the cause of his passing was, and that there was nothing else suspicious. Duchess Drizella, I like the name, says the ones who need it the most take their lives will never tell you what's on their mind 90% of the time. Yes, and why Meghan throwing it about while pregnant is disgusting. It's not something to be taken lightly. And, you should not be banding around things willy-nilly, shall we say. So yes, it should be taken incredibly seriously. Thank you for the jacket comments. I am wearing yellow and green today. So I've got the Jardine star on, I've got the honeycomb or the Greville tiara, in honour of Queen Camilla wearing some Greville ivy clips. We saw on the collar there was 2 little ivy diamond clips, and they were from the Greville collection as well. So I'm wearing the Greville tiara, and I'm wearing a brooch which is my own. It's got a peridot or peridot, however you say it, stone in it, which is my birthstone, which is August. Yes, King Constantine was also Lady Gabriella's godparent, so you can understand why she was not there. Beverly, I've read that one. Louise says, Lady C suggests that William had a tummy bug of the kind which might make one need to go to the loo. Yes, that's one thing that I suggested in my previous chat as well. Maybe Lady C watches me, who knows? I'm just saying. But no, I suggested an illness of that kind of nature, or something like a minor illness that maybe lasts 24 hours. He could have had the sort of illness where where you need to run off to the loo every 5 minutes, but he certainly didn't have that today when he was out and about. So yes, one can excuse William most definitely for if he had that sort of ailment or affliction. You certainly wouldn't want to see him sat there wearing an adult diaper. That wouldn't do. That most definitely would not do. So, yeah, we don't know the true reason as for why he was absent, but he could have had something of that nature. My suspicions are more towards that there was something perhaps preventing him personal reasons with Katherine, but it could have been a tummy bug as well. Thank you to Kate T, who has donated $4.99 US. Thank you so much. She says, thanks so much for doing a stream. That's a bit later today. I was able to make it live. Well, thank you. I may make these Friday live chats more of a permanent fixture. Do let me know if you would like that. Nancy said perhaps he had financial issues and could not cope with it. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why some people do what they do. Lauren says it's nice to see Prince William back to engagements. Hope that means the private issue has resolved. Yes, hopefully. And Lauren says, I do feel it's important to state as this time we don't know. Yeah, I've definitely stated that we don't know 100% of the story regarding Thomas Kingston. Oh, yes, well, he did. I think it's almost being confirmed that he did do it to himself, because in the same breath of saying that he was found with a catastrophic head injury, that there was a gun close to his body, and that there is no suspicion of any other foul play, that leads to one conclusion that I think is most likely, the most likely scenario. Sandy says, time for the York girls to step up. Hold that thought. Hold that thought a moment. Yes, the photos of William in Wrexham today are precious. Yes, and of course he was, talking to all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life, and interacting very, very well with them, including children. I do always love it when the royals meet children. H.A. Bracken says, didn't the children just go back to school and one of them may have been sick? Possibly. Could also have been a Wales child illness. And yes, some of those bugs do just last 24 hours. Right, I wanted to talk now about Katherine and the statement that we had. So obviously there has been so much speculation, and someone in the comment section said, I wish you wouldn't, talk about anything to do with... Sorry, I'm tilting my glasses so that you don't get the glare. There you go. You shouldn't talk about speculation until we know the facts. And my answer to that is quite simple. Everybody is talking about Katherine. And it doesn't matter whether I don't talk about Katherine or someone else doesn't talk about Katherine. Everyone is talking about Katherine. So my train of thought is that at least if I'm talking about what's going on, I present to you what we know as fact. I will tell you that it's a fact, just like we had the statement about Thomas Kingston. Everything that I said there was a fact. The sequence of events was a fact. When it's talking about Katherine, I will say if something is speculation. I will say if we are talking about something that is a possibility. I will make that distinction, unlike other people on the internet and social medias who will claim that something is the truth when it's opinion. They'll present opinion as fact. They will present something that they've heard, third, fourth, fifth hand. They'll repeat complete rumors without even mentioning or telling everyone that, hey, it could not be true. So my answer is that if people are going to be talking about it, I may as well talk about it, but at least I will tell you if it's true or just a possibility or just speculation. So I think I'm doing a public service, my loves. I'm definitely doing a public duty and service. That's what I'm doing. So the palace did release a update addressing all of the speculation and conspiracy theories about Katherine's whereabouts. So in a statement, the Princess of Wales's rep said, and this is direct quotes, Kensington Palace made it clear in January the timelines of the princess's recovery, and we'd only be providing significant updates. That guidance stands. Additionally, they noted that Katherine is doing well. So, haven't we been royally told off, my loves? We've had a spanky. We've had a spanky. We've had a royal spanky from Katherine. I don't know how I feel about being royally spanked by Katherine. Anyway, it was quite haughty. It was quite it was quite a haughty response. But yes, they did outlay in their initial statement that there wasn't going to be any, further updates. They did outlay the timeline. They said that she'd be recovering privately, that she would be unlikely to return to public-facing duties until at least after Easter. And obviously, if there were any significant updates, they would inform. So they have stayed true to their initial statement. Will this help to quell conspiracy theories and speculation? No, it won't. It absolutely won't. People are going to be speculating and coming up with weird and crazy conspiracy theories until the cows come home. This is going to do nothing. Nothing at all. So, do I think that they should relent and release a little something something? Yes, I do. I think if they really did want to quell speculation, then perhaps they could, release a statement directly from Katherine saying thank you, for all of the well wishes and the cards, if she is well enough and up to it. And I say if she is well and up to it, maybe she could release a little casual video like the King did, going through the cards, saying thank you, just so that we can see. Or they could even organise maybe a little pap session. I mean, for goodness sakes, the monster of Montecito does it. She's always on the phone, to Backgrid. They're on her friends and family practically. So why not Katherine? Why couldn't she? Why couldn't they organise a little bit where she's being driven somewhere, and you could see her through the window, just so we could see that she was happy and smiley. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's not going to take much, but I do think some kind of visual would be advantageous in this kind of situation. Yes, she is entitled to her privacy. Yes, we are all being nosy and we are all speculating, but that's not going to stop. It's human nature. You've got to roll with it. And, they may stick to their guns. We may not have an update until after Easter, but I think it would be advantageous to do it sooner rather than later. Right, let me just go back. Mario has donated $4.99. Thank you so much, Mario. I really do appreciate it. Let me go up and see what people are saying. Duchess Drizella says, great statement from the palace. Yes, I mean, it was very haughty, to say the least. We definitely got a little slapped bottom. Lauren says, very sad for Thomas Kingston's father. I can't even imagine. Yes, that would be incredibly traumatic. All Sorts says, you are very measured, so if you speculate, I am very willing to listen. I only explore the options, my loves. I explore the options just like everyone else is thinking. Kate T says, you've always been very conservative when discussing gossip. You are a great source of information. Thank you. Nancy says, please, would not like to see the York girls step up. The way Andrew took over the royal family group walking to church service, he was grinning like an idiot. Well, he was going in the order of precedence, of course. In that group, he was the most senior. Princess Anne, although she is elder, she still, goes behind Andrew when she's with Andrew in public for this sort of thing. So they were only kind of following royal precedent. Of course, you could argue that Sarah Ferguson, now divorced from Prince Andrew, should not necessarily have been tailgating. Perhaps she should have been further back behind all the other titled royals that she was with in the group. But they must have agreed privately that it was acceptable for Sarah to walk behind her ex-husband as if she was married still to him. I mean, they may as well just remarry, to be quite honest. But talking about the York girls stepping up. Now, one of the things that we have noticed again is Princess Beatrice hosted another charity event, and there was some speculation that maybe she'd taken this event over from Katherine. That was not the case. This is Princess Beatrice's own charitable engagement. So she was not taking over from Katherine. She has not stepped up to take over any duties from Katherine. I will say that very clearly and very precisely to quell any of the speculation or false stories about that. But what I will say is that in a short space of time, we have seen two Princess Beatrice sort of almost royal engagements where she's hosted. And I said a week or so ago now that I think we're getting very, very, very strong hints that they are lining Princess Beatrice up to have a full-time working royal role to help support the family and help support the king and the monarchy and the country. I would say it's still leading in that direction. Again, not confirmed, but all of the signs are leading that way. I think they are again testing the water. They're trying to get the public used to seeing her in that capacity, and she's pulling it off. She looks good. She's dutiful. Doesn't talk. Doesn't speak out. Doesn't badmouth the monarchy, like certain people that reside at Snake Mountain in Montecito. You know who we're talking about. Oh, I've got another donation. Thank you, my love. Who donated? Thank you to Julia Dickinson, who's donated 10 UK pounds. And I hope that your 10 UK pounds have King Charles's face on them, because I haven't seen any notes or coins in this country that have King Charles's head on yet. I know that it's a slow process. But I haven't personally had any, so I thank you. I hope that your £10 have King Charles's face on. So yeah, I think the signs are very much leading to Princess Beatrice taking on a few extra duties. Janet says, "I love that Kensington Palace didn't let the media and public bully them." No, it was a very a very tart response, shall we say. I mean, I quite liked the sass, to be honest. I mean, it was a sassy response. So I quite liked it. I don't know who penned it. It wasn't in the typical style of William and Catherine. It's I will say that it's the sort of response that we haven't really seen before. So I would love to know who was the sassy person behind it all. Yes, in other words, back off. I think that's exactly what they were saying. Sandy says the York girls can't be blamed for the actions of their parents. Well, Andrew and Sarah have both made mistakes in their lives. Some more with some mistakes more, shall we say, grievous than others. But the one thing that I can say about Andrew and Sarah as a couple, as a parenting unit, is that they raised two really well-adjusted girls that are in between a rock and a hard place, having the royal titles, having the HRH, but not being working members of the royal family is difficult to navigate. They have navigated it very, very well and remained true and honest and dutiful and honourable to the family that they belong to. On the other hand, we see the monster of Snake Mountain and her lapdog puppy, who have completely handled it incorrectly, in my opinion. So yes, they are two very well-adjusted girls who have been through the mill a little bit with, all the media, and they've got as much reason as William and Harry to hate the media, and they haven't really put a foot wrong. They haven't spoken out. They've remained dignified. It's in stark contrast to Harry and Meghan. Let's have a look. Bernadette says there is too much inconsistency in their approach, i.e. King Charles's health, the Princess of Wales's health. Two very different reactions to their illness. King Charles confronting it, being very open and honest, and then we've got the secrecy around Catherine's illness. My suspicions that have been from the start is that it was actually a very serious condition that she was having the operation to fix, hopefully fix, whatever it is. Probably more immediately precarious than the King's situation. Of course, the King's treatment and recovery is going to be over a longer, we think, probably a longer period of time. Catherine's, we think, was quite sudden, could have been related to a pre-existing health condition. But I think it was a very serious operation. And I think that is why the approach was different. It's probably something that Katherine is going to want to get to grips with herself before going public. My suspicions are that we will have more information in due course when Katherine is ready. I think once she has gotten used to or gotten over the operation that she's had, and she has recovered, I think then will be a time perhaps to speak out and maybe help support charities, organisations, people going through something similar, because she can draw on the experience that she has had going through and hopefully getting over the illness. So hopefully that makes sense. That's my suspicions anyway. Let's have a look. All Sorts says, I'm okay with the Yorks. I would like to see the Tyndalls as well. Yes, I think Zara and Mike Tyndall would be perfect to step up and take up a little bit of slack. Let's have a little look. Janet says people would speculate even if they drove Katherine through the mall in an open carriage. Yes, but we're not going to be seeing her doing cartwheels on the lawn of Windsor Castle anytime soon. She's just had what we think is a major operation. Duchess Drizella says William thanked anyone when he is out. I think they're also proving as much as they are public figures, they want privacy. They have it. Yeah, and of course, being a British royal is part of a very symbiotic relationship between the government, the monarchy, as a constitutional monarchy, the media, and the public, and everything kind of feeds off one another. It's almost like the cogs in a machine. If one cog is not working, the whole machine kind of collapses. So all the people that I've just mentioned, they need each other. So I agree that privacy, where appropriate, is most welcome, but sometimes something really is in the public interest. In particular, if people are worried and concerned about a member of that constitutional monarchy, it's a balancing act, a symbiotic relationship. All Sorts says, I agree, a statement from Katherine would be good. It's not unusual for her recovery time. And you were off 10 weeks when you had abdominal surgery too. Kate T is okay with Beatrice but doesn't usually live in Portugal. There is lots of speculation between the closeness of Princess Eugenie and William and Harry and Meghan. Lots of people are speculating that Eugenie passes on information to Harry and Meghan. We don't necessarily have, concrete proof of that. Harry and Meghan potentially could find out things about what's happening within the royal family from many different sources, including, people that work there that maybe they have connections with. Perhaps they have spies planted. We don't know. But one thing I think, we can say is that since the royal family has taken a bit more of a hardline approach to Harry and Meghan seem to be on the back foot and don't seem to be having as much information as what they once did. So I'm throwing a little bit of doubt on whether it's coming necessarily from Princess Eugenie. Of course, when Harry and Meghan talk to family members, they may glean a little bit of information casually in conversation. I'm sure they set up lots of little traps, conversational traps, to try and tease information out whenever they do talk to their families. So I think, it's a fine line, but I don't think that Eugenie is completely, blabbing information left, right, and centre. If anything, then perhaps, it was obtained via deception from those that live at Snake Mountain. Missy says Catherine's fingers were wrapped after a sprain playing with the kids, and the speculations went crazy. Yeah, and that was just fingers. Lauren says, I personally feel that they want to keep medical issues private. They have, if they want to, then they have the right. Yes, and previous generations of royals have done exactly that, and we've only sometimes found out about operations and illnesses in official biographies. I think we only found out about some of the Queen Mother's illnesses after her passing in the official William Shawcross biography. I think she had some kind of, it was possibly stomach, don't quote me, but I think it was stomach cancer, and I think she had to have a section of bowel removed. So, but Kensington Palace has categorically said that for Catherine, it's not cancer related. The royal brief says Andrew needs to be put out to pasture and never be seen publicly again. And this is part of the problem, because he is who he is, and even if you removed all the titles and whatever, he is still the son of a former monarch, if you like. He's still the brother of the current sovereign, and there will still be media interest in him. The only way that he's going to be put out to pasture is if the media interest falls away, which does not look like it's going to happen anytime soon. It's the same with Harry and Meghan. If you removed all of their titles and styles, yes, I think it would take away a lot of their ability to monetize themselves and their royal connections, but Harry would still remain the son of a reigning sovereign, and there would still be a certain level of interest that they could try and play off of. Harvey says Catherine is not like Markle. She doesn't need to constantly be in the public eye. We will be see her when she is ready. Simmer down and stop with the pressure. I'm not trying to put pressure. I am literally saying, let's give you a better view. I am literally saying that I think it would take away the underlying pressure for Catherine if the conspiracy theories and the speculation was quelled. And the only people that are going to quell that is indeed William and Catherine themselves and their people. For them to have released such a terse slap down of a statement shows that all the speculation and the conspiracy is getting to William and Catherine. That's what it shows. That's what that level of reaction showed. That's what that statement said to me. So if it's getting to them, and then that's not good. Putting undue pressure on Catherine feeling that way is not good. So maybe to put out a photo or something really quick and easy breezy, might actually quell it and might actually take away the pressure from themselves. That's just another way of looking at it. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the comments and see what people are saying. Elizabeth says Andrew is absolutely clueless regarding how he comes off. He is not Sarah. Sarah knows how to, well, I say knows how to. I think she knows when it's time. She knows when the game's up. She knows when she's been caught. She knows when she's done something wrong. And she realizes it. And I genuinely feel that when she apologizes, or she goes on TV, or speaks to Oprah, as she has done in the past, you really do get a sense that she's humble. What I think Prince Andrew lacks is that humility. He lacks being able to portray being humble. And when you don't get a sense that someone is being humble, then it comes off completely wrong. During the Emily Maitlis interview, if he had been a little bit more Sarah, but of course that doesn't come naturally to Andrew. Andrew is, he is Andrew, and he just doesn't come across as being humble. If he'd have been compassionate, for all involved in the whole scenario, then maybe that interview could have ended a little bit differently. But it was doomed. He's not the sort of person that can pull off that sort of interview. Sarah, on the other hand, she can. Selena says the Sussex supporters, let's not talk about those, are being, I suppose they exist, are being horrible about Katherine's absence. They need to be asking to see Archie and Lilibet, not only to see that they are okay, but that they exist. I am aware of all of the conspiracy theories surrounding the legitimacy or even mere existence of Archie and Lilibet. It's typical Harry and Meghan. They want to play off their royal connections without actually, giving anything. So they want Archie and Lilibet to have the HRH. They want them to be prince and princess of the United Kingdom, but they don't want to be showing. And of course, it is a parent's right and a parent's prerogative to show as much or as little as what you want. That's your choice. But most people are not then sort of claiming HRHs and prince and princess styles and titles derived from a country that you no longer live in, a country that you are bashing, a family that you are bashing and selling out on. It's not the same situation. They are different. They are different to other people. And trying to claim that you are the same and you should be. If a situation is not the same, then it is not a double standard. That's what I don't understand about all these double standard this, double standard that. No, the situations in pretty much all of those double standard claims are not true because the situation was different. For something to be a double standard, it has to be exactly the same. And most often with Harry and Meghan, it's completely not. Elizabeth says, agree that she could just put out a personal statement saying thank you for your concern and well wishes and we'll see you soon would settle everyone down. I agree entirely. Jane says, loving the choice of colours. Thank you. We are very summery. We're daffodil yellow. That's what we are today. Duchess says, I have to say, Edward, not the heir and not the known favourite. Anne is the only girl and he has grown up a fine man. So, WTF Harry. I get what you're saying. Harry needn't have looked further than Princess Anne or Prince Edward to realise and understand the power of being the supporter. Harry didn't want that. Harry wanted to be the main character. He has complete main character syndrome, egged on by the monster of Montecito, who knows how to push all of his buttons and insecurities. He should have looked at Princess Anne. I mean, let's just look at Princess Anne. She has been in a supporting role all of these years to her mother, now to her brother, and she is really coming into her own now. People are really realizing the level of work and duty and service that she has always done quietly, sometimes almost privately, without the need for glory. Princess Anne is not a glory hunter, but yet she has had a royal career. She has sustained a royal career. And if Harry was worried about that he was going to be sidelined in the future, it was completely baseless. His grandmother, the Queen, set him up for life. He had a home paid for by the state. He had cars regularly updated, paid for by the state. He went on foreign tours. He was given plum Commonwealth roles. He was integrated in everything. He was not this kind of poor Harry Potter sleeping under the stairs character that he would like everyone to think, oh, I had the smallest bedroom. Well, when you live in a palace, no bedroom is small. We're not talking a closet size, are we? William may have had the bigger bedroom as an elder brother, but no room in that palace, whichever palace or Highgrove or wherever they were staying, would have been small. So Harry is just totally unadjusted from reality. He's detached from reality. And that is the truth of it. Amatia, I think that is. Amata63 says, can you imagine what kind of issues it will cause when those children grow up and decide they want to cash in on their heritage? They have absolutely no idea how to act. Yeah, I mean, they will be complete Nepo babies. You can imagine um, Princess Lily and Prince Archie. I mean, what will they do? Will they have their own talk show? I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? In Canada, WTF means where's the funds? It means something completely different over here, I can assure you. The Royal Brief says main character syndrome, perfect description of Harry. He does. He has main character syndrome. He wants to be the one that's got all the limelight. Take notice of Princess Anne. She is quite happily existing and thriving, not having so much of a limelight. Yes, oh Harry, you poor sad millionaire. Yes, I feel for him. I really do. My heart is bleeding. Um, uh, KAXAR says Harry believes because he married a mixed race woman, he should get preferential treatment and protection because of perceived right wing rage. Um, I'm not quite sure what he feels about that. I mean, I certainly don't think that Harry himself, before he met Meghan, had any sorts of issues with relating to what you've just spoken about. I think since Meghan, I mean, with which he's admitted himself in Oprah, he has changed his opinions and views. Like I said, Meghan knows how to push all of those buttons, all of those insecurities. She's the puppet master. I mean, I'm not absolving Harry from his own responsibilities, but there is a common denominator in all of this. Do I think Harry and Meghan's titles will be removed? Tricky one. At the moment, no, but I think that they are on a dangerous precipice. Push too hard, push too much further, and they could very well find themselves losing their titles. Someone did comment in the comment section, does it matter whether the people of Sussex are outraged by what Harry and Meghan are doing? Can the people of Sussex remove the titles? No. If you have a title of somewhere, of Edinburgh, of Wales, of Sussex, whatever, of York, whatever it might be, the people do not put you there. It is a title bestowed by the monarch, and it is not anything to do with the people of the place where the title is derived from. So, unfortunately, even if the people of Sussex rallied round and said that they don't want Harry and Meghan to use Sussex, Harry and Meghan can still use Sussex. But it's not very good PR. That is what I will say. To have a whole geographical area saying that they are not happy with you and that they do not want you to be to have their location Sussex in their name is horrendous PR for Harry and Meghan, and that is what that can do. It can just sort of show how unhappy and how just how horrified and shocked people are with the behavior of that's coming out of Snake Mountain. Duchess says, I think we can all say Dukedom of Sussex is equal to the Dukedom of Windsor and is just to shush a brat from... well, let's talk seriously about sort of the rankings of dukedom. So a dukedom is a dukedom. A royal dukedom with an HRH does kind of suppress and trump a dukedom that doesn't have an HRH. But there are some dukedoms that come with lots of land and prestige. For example, the Dukedom of Westminster. The Duke of Westminster owns huge tracts of lands and is incredibly wealthy. Pretty much all of the royal dukedoms don't really come with any lands or power or property, excluding, of course, the Duchy of Lancaster and the Duchy of Cornwall, which was set up, sort of to fund the heir to the throne and the sovereign in part. So, for example, the Dukedom of Edinburgh, Sussex, Cambridge, whatever, they don't have any lands or sort of monetary values attached to them. Thank you to Explore with Dommy. Oh, we have 276 people watching. Please give a big thumbs up if you're watching. Right, I am going to only be on for the next 5 minutes. So if you do have any really pertinent questions that you want me to answer very quickly that I've not covered today, or something you want clarification on, please do let me know and I will try and answer you as quickly as I can. Savannah says, regarding adverts, I heard YouTube got hit with massive fines and upped the ads and their revenue share from content creators to pay the fines. I've not heard that, but it's a possibility. But no, I've not heard that. Let's have a look. Kate says, a great live, thank you. Sarah says, I love your brooches. Well, this one is the Jardine Star. So this is a replica of one of Queen Elizabeth II's brooches. And I actually bought this from the Buckingham Palace shop years ago now. Back in 2016, 2017, the official Buckingham Palace website had amazing replica brooches, like proper replica brooches. And for some reason, they stopped doing them and they replaced the jewellery with Thomas Sabo, I think. Which I was dismayed at because you could actually get proper replicas. There was Queen Victoria's bow brooch, the Jardine Star, the flower basket brooch. There were lots of really, really, really amazing replicas. And they just stopped doing it. So I would say bring back the replicas, the official ones. The Royal Brief says, very informative live. Well, thank you so much. I do hope that people, learn things or find them useful. So I'm going to go now because I don't think there's any pertinent questions coming in. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, oh, by the way, M. Salinas just says, Daily Mail said Charles will never remove any titles. We don't know. We don't know what is going to happen in the future and what King Charles might not want to do. Certainly might not be the case for a King William. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So, thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media. And of course, do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, until next time, mwah, to you all, and goodbye.